Okay, so we're going to do a demo on how to make a pinch pot. That is kind of a traditional method for making kind of a Japanese style wabi-sabi tea bowl. Okay, so one thing I want to point out is that the actual pinch pot part, pinching and shaping the clay, is only one of the steps in this process, and so that you're actually not making the perfect bowl when you're pinching the clay. You're really refining it when you come back to trim the clay away. So if you were to, I'm just going to draw like, I've got a ball of clay here, right? And then I'm going to pinch out kind of a crude shape out of clay. It's not going to be perfect at all, right? But I know that within the thickness of this crude piece of clay, that I can trim away a lot of that extra clay and leave myself with a nice thin pot, right?
Right.
And so it doesn't really matter. Like, it doesn't have to be a perfect thing when you pinch it out. Because you're going to get rid of a lot of this clay. But as long as you have enough clay that you can get a nice pot somehow out of that piece of clay, then you'll be all set. So let's go do this real quick. So I've got a little piece of clay, and I am just going to wedge it up a little bit. You can see this clay has a lot of different colors of clay in it. They're kind of spiraling around together. This is just reclaimed clay, a lot of studio scraps all mixed together. Okay, so I've got my round ball of clay, right? Okay, now I'm going to take this round ball of clay and put it on the table, and I'm just going to slam it down. I'm going to make it flat. I'm going to do that again. Might even give it a little flying saucer shape here. Okay, so what I have here is a flat disc of clay, right? And I need to make this part, like this is going to become the lip of my tea bowl right here. Okay? So this circle, if you look at it, it's obviously way too big, and it's too thick, and it's flat. So I need to do a few things. I need to make the circle smaller. I need to make the piece of clay taller, and I need to make all the clay a little bit thinner. So I'm going to grab this piece of clay, and I'm going to take my two index fingers like this, and I'm going to put my index fingers across the outside edge. As I'm going to bend the clay up a little bit, and I'm going to push the clay together so my fingertips come closer together. And I'm going to continuously do this all the way around this disc. And if you see, watch, I bend it, I push my thumbs down a little bit, so I bend the clay up, and I push it in. Bend it up, push it in. Bend it up, push it in. And I'm going to continue to do this around the pot. And my goal here is to make this circle, which is going to become the lip, smaller, right? So you see me get that clay together, push that clay together, make that circle smaller, okay? So I'm going to keep going, working my way around. You see it's starting to get to be a little disc shape. Speed this up.
Yeah.
I'm going to set this down on the table and work on it here like this. Have you seen the video of the Japanese guy doing this?
No, not this particular method.
So if you see, my fingers start at the bottom, and I'm kind of squeezing that clay together, 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 together. I'm working my way up the side of the pot.
So you start at the very bottom and you're squeezing in a V shape and coming up from all, so you're coming up from here all the way around one spot. Then you move and come all the way around one spot, right?
Right.
That's the part that's difficult to kind of
And notice
get.
that, so the top, remember that was this big flat wide thing, and we kind of brought it up and in and tightened everything up, right? So the main thing is that you have to actually take that circle and make it smaller. So I'm always taking this edge and bringing it together.
How do you avoid the edge getting thin?
I'm never thinning it out. I'm always pushing the clay together. I'm never pulling it apart,
Okay.
right?
Can that rim get too thick?
And then I can always pinch it out and make it thinner, right?
Right.
So the first thing I'm trying to do is to make kind of a cylinder shape, right? And then I can come back in here, and now maybe I'm going to come back here and give it a little more shape, so it's kind of round on the inside. So I'll smooth that out. But you know, this is like a rudimentary pot right now. It's pretty thick. You know, it's not that smooth. But I know that when I come back to this thing with a little bit of, when I come back to trim the clay away, right? After it's leather hard, then I can really refine the shape and get a nice smooth inside, and if I want, a nice smooth outside. You know, at that point when it's leather hard, I can also come back. If I want the top to be totally even, I can cut the top off. Okay, so we've got our rudimentary pinch pot here, and we've got kind of a finished T-bowl. And you'll see that in another video, after this gets leather hard, we will